Good.
Lights are on. Now they are.
We're good? Yep. Okay, welcome everybody to our April 17th, 2024 Bruce Township Board of Trustees meeting. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need a roll call, Susan, please. Or, I'm sorry, Amy.
Sure.
Here.
Here.
Here. Yes, here.
Here.
We have a full board. At this time, has everybody had an opportunity to take a look over the consent agenda? Is there any deletions or additions that anybody would like to make right now? I have a couple. Also, I'd like to add the Parks and Recs Director's Quarterly Report to item 7I. But I'd like to have it heard first. She's got to be in Washington. Have it heard it's before 7A though, possible.
What is it?
7I, Parks and Recs Quarterly Report.
David on here?
No.
Right,
I'd like
Ed.
to point out that we do have a deadline. Not standing by that. So it's hard when we don't have the information in front of us.
Right, but there's nothing, we don't have any packet. There's no information for a board packet. And then I would also want to make the recommendation to remove item 7G because I think that needs to go in front of the union first.
Is that the one that was just added? No. So you're recommending what?
7G be removed.
Pushing that out
Yeah.
to another meeting?
Correct. It's more, I would think it'd be best that we would meet with the TPOAM union first prior
Okay.
to the discussion.
And 7I is PNR update?
The quarterly report from the director.
Okay.
And Bob Billick, I think, was supposed to come too.
And you wanted to push that up?
If we could, please, yeah.
Okay.
I don't have anything else.
I got a correction to the March 27th meeting minutes.
What page?
Page 3, the Administrative Services LLC contract for our assessor. March 27th, page 3.
Okay.
I believe part of that motion was, since our purchasing policy requires us to competitively bid anything over 7,000, that we as a board agreed to waive the competitive bid requirement for that particular item, right? Yeah, so it should be corrected to reflect that.
Got it?
Yep.
Anything else, Mike?
That's it.
If you said there's nothing else, can somebody want to make a motion to go and approve them as amended?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Support. Oh, thank you.
Support by Therese. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll move on. This time, I'm going to listen to comments from the floor. We would prefer you would come up to the podium, state your name and your address, and keep your comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. So if there's somebody that wanted to comment regarding one of the items on our agenda or not, now's the time. Carl?
It'll be short.
Carl Beauvais, 72807 Sorrel Drive. On the RAS rezone, the conditions, one of the conditions was a decorative wall. I did not notice what the height was. Maybe I missed it. Maybe it was on the plan detail and I didn't see it, but I was curious to what was the height of that decorative wall.
So we did make the recommendation. There's the C2 piece of property to the west that we're requesting that they put a 6-foot high concrete wall. That's our maximum height, and it would be a decorative concrete wall that will continue from the west to the east. Good point, so.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else? No? No? Okay, move on. Move on to item 6A, which is item 5A, which is hearings and reviews for the SMT automation, the IFT. This time I'll make a motion to open up the public hearing for the SMT IFT at 6:04 PM. Support by Susan. All in favor? Aye. At this time, so if anybody wanted to comment regarding the SMT IFT? Yeah. Name and address, please.
Hi, guys. My name is Haley Lenny. I'm one of the senior economic developers from Macomb County.
Hi,
I'm
Haley.
actually here on behalf of the company representing them, and I do have the business owners here as well. Just a few words I want to give, a little just overview of the company so you know who they are, and just an overview of the impact that this project will have in your community and countywide. So SMT Automation, LLC, is a family-owned business that is dedicated to the design of machinery for the automation of the manufacturing processes. It offers design and engineering services, hardware selection, implementation of control systems, support for starting machinery, commissioning, and advice in control systems. Its Roseville location has been operating for about 5 years and employs around 80 employees. Some of its more prominent customers include KUKA, Ford, GM, Paslin, and Magna. SMT was outgrowing its Roseville facility and looked to expand its operations when it made the decision to build the 41,000 square foot facility right here in Bruce Township. The industrial facility tax abatement application we submitted does show the real property investment for this project as $5.175 million. When you add in the costs that could not be included in the application, including land, service fees, and personal property, this investment in your municipality is actually a total of $7.2 million. Not only is the investment substantial, but the job creation will include 60 new, well-paid positions in a working environment that values and puts time and effort into the success of its employees. I am going to also briefly just read you an economic impact report that my GIS team put together that shows the multiplier effect this project has not only locally, but countywide for both job creation and tax impact. I will leave those reports with you guys today, and please feel free to contact me if you have any information on them or any questions. My apologies. But I do hope you will consider offering SMT Automation the full 12 years for the industrial facility tax abatement. Its presence in the county has been extremely impactful, and we want to make sure the economy or the company continues to succeed, which in return adds to a flourishing economy in both Bruce Township and Macomb County. So just going over a few numbers real quick, I did have my GIS team pull. So the county-wide impact of the 80 jobs they've been able to retain has a total impact of 137 jobs retained with 57 downstream jobs, which is over $15 million in earnings retained and a total of $742,000 in state and local taxes remaining within the respective tax bases. Additionally, the 60 jobs created by SMT Automation has a total impact of 102 jobs created, which are 42 downstream. Over $11.34 million in earnings created and $556,000 in state and local taxes added to the respective tax base. This job creation is projected to add an additional $20 million in sales to the Macomb County economy. In reality, a project of this magnitude has a far greater impact on the surrounding economy than just the 80 jobs retained and the 60 jobs created. Those 140 jobs are tied to 99 downstream jobs, both within SMT Automation's supply chain and the greater economy at large, restaurants, retail establishments, other businesses of that sort. A combined earning impact of $26.44 million for 239 jobs means the average annual wage for jobs tied to this project is roughly around $110,000. In regards to your local impact, assessing the localized tax implication of such a project, the addition of 60 jobs in zip code 48065 results in the addition of $228,083 to the local tax base. These impacts are strictly related to the changes in taxes on production and imports. So TPI consists of state and local taxes, primarily non-personal property taxes, license and sales and gross receipts taxes, and federal excise taxes on goods and services. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Haley. You're very thorough. Appreciate your application.
Is there anybody else from SMT that wanted to speak? I know the owners are here.
Hi, good night. My name is Elena Morales. I am the co-owner together with my husband, Marco Santana. He used to explain that we are very happy to be part of this community, and of course to thank you, Haley, for all this nice explanation. We really, it's not only that we are, I don't know if all of you see the building, they are already, it's almost done. We are very happy about it, but it's not only that, also the current employees that are also thinking about moving to this area of the city, which is nice for us too. We live also here in 30 Mile, so we are really happy to be part of this community, so we really appreciate if you can help us with this application. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
He's got the wrong sweatshirt on, though.
Was there anybody else that would wish to public comment? If not, I'll make a motion to go ahead and close public hearing for
Second.
6:10. Second by Tremblay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Open for discussion?
I have one comment, Mike.
Sure.
We've discussed a few times at the board about formalizing some guidelines for IFT.
All right.
I would suggest that at our next meeting, we probably should address that.
I did put something together for a couple of years now.
But we've never formalized it as a board. I mean, I know
Yeah.
you did provide some guidelines, but I think we should take action as a board to formalize
Go ahead
some
and
guidelines.
approve
So
it.
going forward, we could have something that's quantitative.
You're not asking it to hinder the vote today, though, right?
Pardon me?
You're not asking us to hinder that vote today until we
No.
have something? Okay.
No. No,
I've
I
already
think
put
I think it's a great idea
together.
to do that.
We have to-
And we've talked about it.
We just have to bring it to the board for approval? Is that-
I think we should bring it to the board for approval that we adopt some kind of guidelines.
It's ready to go.
Yeah, right.
Okay. I mean, basically what I got is the type of use, and when I go on investment in real property.
Is that in our
investment
packet?
person- No, it's my own little thing. Since I gave it out to everybody before, but I didn't really want to use
I
it.
couldn't find mine.
Okay. But basically, it looks at the type of use, the investment in real property, and also investment in personal property, and total annual new employees full-time, which this does fall under does meet the criteria of all high scoring on all of them, and it would be looking at a 12-year IFT is what my sheet would recommend. So, I did send a letter of support August 24th of 2022 to Macomb County Business Development Manager, let them know that we do participate in IFT. And then also, you guys received a letter from the director, I think, or the chair, the vice president of Chief Business Development Officer also after that, welcome you, what they have to offer. So got countywide and township support, so.
Can I ask a question? Was this the same company that had come in here and they did a presentation where they were going to take over a building and then also do an addition to a building, or is that something?
No, that's a
That
different
was
one.
different.
Both IFTs.
I think that was a plastics for,
Yeah, it's Wilco.
Wilco
Right.
Plastics, yeah,
Yeah.
and that was approved. I'd like to make a motion by resolution to approve the SMT Automotive IFT as presented.
Report by DeGiorgio. Any other discussion? If not, can we get a roll call, please, Henry?
Yes.
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 Could I ask that we put in the minutes that we as a board formalize IT guidelines?
Okay.
Thank you.
I wrote it down.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Haley. Appreciate it. Everybody.
Thank you.
Good
Congratulations.
luck. The business looks good.
Thank you.
Let us know when you open up and.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Stuff.
You are very welcome to be there.
Awesome. Thank you. Awesome.
Open house when it's finished
Yes, of course.
Haley,
with Detroit Lions shirts?
I'll be sending that in either tomorrow or Monday. I'll be sending that into the state either tomorrow or Monday. It'll take probably at least a week. Okay.
Thank you.
Give you two.
I got,
Thank you.
the short one?
I'll make copies.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's move on to item 6A of unfinished business, whereas vacant land rezoning, parcel number 14-01-25-300-0320. Mike, do you want to take that one? I know we both participated.
I can. The history on this is this was first brought to the Planning Commission in February. And they had voted 7-0 to rezone this to M1. We as a board looked at it and the surrounding properties around there and agreed as a board that we would have Mike and I work with the developer and express some issues and concerns that we had regarding that development. And the developer came forth and offered some conditions, which are described in section 2 of the agreement. We had a very, very good couple of meetings. We heard some concerns from some of the surrounding property owners. We believe that what we have here is a good compromise, and the developer did listen to the concerns and came forth with some conditions that we believe would work for that particular area. I mean, the things we considered is to the north and to the east was residential, and to the west was C2. So the conditions are that they've restricted the uses. They've offered to restrict the uses in the M1 area just to ones that are less intrusive. They lowered the building heights to 30 feet. There's a proposed storage facility. All the doors would be inward facing, so that would not be seen. Decorative walls on the outside that are facing residential properties. Am I missing anything? They would abide by all lighting and noise ordinances, so it would be not intrusive to the surrounding properties. And it's not finished. We'll see this development back again for, the Planning Commission will see it for site plan approval. There's some zoning board variances that would be required. There's a lot split that's going to be required. And then a special land use for the storage facilities, which would come to the Planning Commission and then come to us. So we'll see this probably 1 or 2 more times. But this is just the amendment to rezone it conditionally based on the restrictions or the conditions that the developer has offered, and Mike and I believe are reasonable. Mike, anything to add?
No, it covers it. No, it's all in there. It has gone.
Well, when we had our meeting, we actually had one of the neighbors that was concerned sit in the first 15 minutes, so the developer and Mike and I could hear the concerns, and the developer addressed most of the concerns. I mean, there were some that were a little bit unreasonable, but most of the concerns were addressed by the developer. We think they're acceptable.
This has gone back and forth between the applicant's attorney and our attorney probably 5 or 6 times. So, did Raz, did the applicant want to have anything they want to say?
I'm here to answer questions if you have any regarding the language in the contract or, anything that has to do with the zoning. But I think Mike pretty much nailed it. The only thing that I would add is that...
Go, you want to stand?
Sure.
Yeah, podium, please. Name.
Justin Raz Building and Development, representing Strategic Business Park. Now, the only thing that Mike didn't add in there is we did display some screening concepts as far as landscaping goes on Homestead Drive, which divides the west C2 and the east, now potentially M1. And that's something that will also come before the Planning Commission for approval, once we do site plan approval. So, we've discussed this, like he said, the attorneys have reviewed it, and we're just really here for ratification tonight. But if you have any questions on why we conditioned it the way we did, you're welcome to ask, and I can try to fill you in on that.
I have a comment.
Okay.
I think that you guys did do a good job on coming to terms and agreeing on how this parcel should be developed.
Thank you.
I think you did a good job on that.
Thank you.
Compliment, can you believe that? Not bad. Doesn't happen all the time, right?
It happens sometimes.
And you know I look.
Yes, you do. You're very thorough.
I'm very familiar with it. I think Mike is also. Susan or Frank, do you have anything else?
No? Thank you.
Not, I'll go ahead and make the motion to go ahead and approve the rezoning of the, I want to mention the parcel number, parcel 14-01-25-300-0320 from C2 to M1.
Support.
Support by DeGiorgio. If there's no other discussion, can we get a roll call, please?
And I would also
Oh, as
suggest
presented, should be.
that you authorize yourself and Susan to sign this.
It's not in, not on there already?
No, but just give authorization for you guys to sign it.
Authorize Susan and myself to sign it also. Can you add that, Anne Marie, please?
As presented.
As presented.
As presented.
You got that?
Now we'll take a roll call.
It did change, but I think the attorney sent it to everybody.
Yeah.
If you want this one.
Just that you don't have item G on there, that's the new wording.
You have items.
I know this is a new one.
That is-
That is a new one. Okay.
Okay.
If you need something. Yeah, we're good.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Stephanie, thanks for
Thank you.
coming out.
Thank you.
See you in the morning, Darrell.
I'll be here.
Okay, let's move on to new business. Let's listen to item 7I, the quarterly report from the Parks and Rec first. There, Russell, the director. Bob, you don't want to come up? No. Commissioner, chair, commissioner? Okay.
Hi, well, first, I need to apologize because I am not on the agenda, and I do understand time, dates, and it's all set from the future going. But I'm excited to introduce Kim Duda, who is our new treasurer for the commission, and normally she is going to be at the same time as the director's report. She'll be giving the financial report for Parks and Recreation, but I thought I'd let you talk about it.
Yes. Excuse me, Kim Duda. I was newly appointed as the treasurer for Parks and Rec. I did want to kind of just introduce myself and let you guys know that I am already working on a few things. We're working with PNC Bank. We just got all of our signers authorized, so we're good there. We're working on getting the legal name changed because I know that's been a problem. We need to get some credit cards for Parks and Rec, and we also need to get investments started with some of the funds that have been sitting there and haven't been allocated. So we're looking at CDs. I've been in communications with Michelle Griffiths at PNC, and she is pulling some information for us about the CDs and potential savings accounts and things like that. I'm also going to go to some other banks just to ensure that we're getting some good rates. If we do end up going with PNC, we're going to competitively look at that. And I'm also planning on being a part of the audit process, which is coming up in May. I'm planning to attend the meeting in April, which is the preliminary, and then planning to attend the audit as well, just so that I can gain a much better understanding of the financials and what the concerns may be. So if you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer. But in the future, I'll be presenting the reports, the financial reports, on a quarterly basis to you.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
You're the new commissioner for Washington, I take it, right?
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much for volunteering your time.
No problem.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a lot, but
Yeah.
I'm learning, let's put it that way.
We laid the good groundwork for you, so you got a nice,
Good,
easy.
good, yes.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, this is probably like your
This will be
8th
my,
meeting or
yeah.
something
In a
that she's
month.
been to. Yeah, so we've been shoving in a lot, but
Yes.
she's
Okay.
a trooper. So I'll just go quickly, just to kind of let you know for the spring director's report. Obviously, I was just here last month, so I went over the budget with you, but to remind everybody that Parks and Recreation balanced at $2.75 million, plus we had $750,000 from the fund balance pulled over into it for the projects that we're hoping to get done for 2024, which includes the pickleball courts and then a large pavilion at Gilcher Park. So that $750,000 is pulled over for that, but we're in the process of looking at rebidding, especially the pickleball courts at this point, because the bids came in very high or more than we had anticipated. So we're in the process of making those things happen. So for Star Transportation, the budget is $785,000 it came in at. Obviously, we are closing up 1 year still with our audit. The amendments the commission went through, they were rather large this year, but mostly because of under budgeting for the parking lot in Washington Township. We did not have the correct amount. We have been, one of our 8 meetings, negotiating to see if we can get the cost down because it was pretty much double what was in the budget. So Sam has been working with us on that, and it's looking pretty promising. So some of these budget amendments are going to be over and above that we'll even need them. We've also had IT projects and repairs this year. Very needed. We had lost our IT professional, and we have a new company that came in, and they're kind of bringing us to where we need to be. And then also with legal and all of the different things that have been happening with the commission, it kind of took a lot of the budget lines over. As far as STAR, we also have a pretty large amendment, $108,000 actually. But the good news is that's because I under budgeted because the year prior we just didn't have the riders as much, and I think it was about 3/4 of the year we were 200% higher in our riders and requests. So it really came back. It took a while from COVID, but it really has come back. But it does reflect when that happens, because then 60% of our budget pays staff of our drivers and our dispatchers. So when we have that much, we need to bring them in. The other good thing about STAR is well, good and bad. We had a car hit, one of our brand new car, so it's out for a couple of months for repairs. But we did find out from SMART that we will be getting not only a new bus this year, but we'll also be getting a new van, which we kind of gave up on from a long time ago. So that's exciting, and we need that obviously as fast as possible. So we're crossing our fingers that comes very soon. Our assignments for this year, the commission has went further because, as everybody knows, we do have a really big fund balance right now because of so many different reasons. But this is our year to really secure the money to develop our parks and to invest what we do have in fund balance. So we just need the opportunity and time, and we should have a pretty good step on that from this year. And then next year, I think that we're going to be pretty much on par. Our projects, the master plan, should be completed by the end of June. The commission will be reviewing the projects and goals that are already in it. It's been kind of a 2.5 year process for this master plan, but we've had surveys and community input, and we think that we have it's pretty well set, but the commission's going to look over it, and then we'll submit it to the state. Currently, like I had said, the pickleball course, we are rebidding. We hope that we can start that towards the end of, well, it should be completed by fall, we'll say. At Washington, that's at Washington Township Park. At Gilcher Park, that's where we're looking for the pavilion and laying the groundwork for that. Orchard Hills Park, we are putting the electric and the lights out there. We just got the pickleball metal box, so we're going to lock the pickleball out there. There'll be certain people who have keys, probably a lot of people, but it's just a pickleball net, so it'll be fine. But it'll be away from the weather so that they can get into it and play as much as they want to. And then at Bruce Township, we're concentrating on the trees, but we're concentrating on the path. We'll be working on that this year and hopefully expanding it so it makes a complete circle. Those are our biggest projects are within our improvement and development. Vehicle update, every year we're buying a new vehicle, a replacement vehicle for our maintenance, and I already talked to you about STAR. We're in the second new vehicle will be this year, and then next year would be our third vehicle. And then we'll continue to rotate later as we need. Our programs, very safe. We do background checks, certification for our fitness instructors, lifeguards for STAR. We have SMART and our DOT training, random drug tests for our drivers. Staff are required and/or offered free CPR and AED classes when Parks and Recreation has the programs. We pay for our prominent staff, full-time and permanent part-time staff, so that we kind of know or we're safer wherever we're at in the community. Locations, our programs and our events are spread throughout the tri-community area already, but we are really taking a look at that. This year we are trying to pull back Super Sunday because I know Washington really wants a festival. That has been, geez, I don't even know how long that was, but it kind of died out when we tried the Arts and Orchard Festival, but now they're building it back up. So we're jumping in on that, and I think the Octagon House and the Lions are going to do that as well. So hopefully that will take off. And then our summer brochure just got emailed, I think, to everybody's house, and our mail home mailer will go out this coming Monday or Tuesday. So that will be to everybody's house to remind them and just kind of give them a briefing of what's happening. And then they can either come in and get a full brochure, or we will, there's an email that they can go into and look at that. But really, everything's just kind of chugging away. Very happy with the commission. Everybody seems to be absorbing a lot of knowledge, and there's a lot to absorb. So, I think that everything looks pretty good, so.
Nice. Anybody got a
Again.
question?
Oh, sorry.
I got a couple.
Sure.
A good friend of mine and a neighbor was talking about our park.
Yes.
There's a couple of picnic tables that did get moved back to the pavilion. I don't know if you guys could do that.
Yes.
And then he said there's some down tree limbs. in the
Yes.
park. Okay.
We have, actually, we were just given some emergency money so that we can just get in there and get the ones that are by the paths
You
or
might have some
anything by
new
the
ones
playground.
after today.
I know. But it will happen shortly because we just went, we did the walk, and we're getting rid of the ones that, but we'll look tomorrow and see what's out there. Anything else?
Clara, I've heard some people criticize our master plan process for the Parks and Rec before. Can you explain to me how that's going to work? That we're going to get it done by June? I mean,
So
with reviews.
the master plan, we started it 2
I know
years
it's been in the
ago.
process for a while.
Yes, we had sent out a community survey. We've been using that information that we received from those to put the projects into the master plan. So all of the stuff that the master plan company does, that's all the topography and stats from the census and everything like that. And then there's about 15 pages that really are our goals and our objectives, which we worked on together, as well as the people that would come to our workshops. We use that information, plus it was out on our counter and on our website. I mean, it really did have a lot. If someone wanted to come look at it, I mean, we didn't have groves and groves of people, but we did have over 400 people do our survey, which is a small number, but a very big number for when you do a community survey. So, and a lot of very interesting information came from that. So, I'm not sure exactly what the complaints are, with the exception of we have the list of parks, we have the different items that we want to get done with it. One of the main goals is that we just need to have it on our shelf in Michigan so that we can look at the different grants that are around and available so that we can do it. The master plan can always be updated and or things added to it or taken away. So I feel good about it. And
So having worked on a few master plans here
Yeah.
for the township, my presumption is you guys are going to do like a public hearing to have it reviewed, the public will have a chance to provide.
absolutely,
comment.
yeah. So in December, I did go to each of the boards.
No, I'm talking
and-
about public comment at the Parks and Rec meeting.
Absolutely, but I'm just saying that this
Yeah.
just happened. We could have had it to the state, but there were some issues, like you said, people didn't want to have that. We had the public hearing, we had people come up and actually talk, but we will, before it has to have a hearing, another hearing. So I'll probably have a very thick book.
So there'll be a public hearing, The commission will review it and approve it, correct?
Correct.
So when it comes to us, I don't think we approve it, right?
No, so the public hearing-
This is more for our
I'm sorry.
information, this is our finished product.
Yes, and the public hearing is done through the commission.
Right.
Which was one of the biggest questions at the end of the last year.
Yeah.
So,
So your timetable is to have the whole process done by June?
yeah, well,
And
the
then-
process is pretty much done.
Well, I mean, the public
yes,
hearing, the commission
Public hearing,
approve,
yes, in June.
Maybe give another FYI to the townships.
Yeah,
And then once it's on the shelf, then that qualifies you for certain grants that if you don't have one in place,
right,
okay,
yes,
thank you.
yeah.
Anybody else?
What are your biggest challenges?
Oh, let me see.
Top 2 or 3?
Okay, well, honestly, I feel like the biggest challenge has already been done. We have a 5-person commission, they're learning, that's what we need. We need help, guidance, and to move forward, to build, and our millage is in August. I don't think that there's going to be any problems with it. I think that no matter what, we do what we do at Parks and Recreation and Star, and if the people want us, they'll let us know. That's our biggest challenge. And I don't know if I really cut it into a challenge, but
And how about your third-party leases that we do with the schools and the 2 townships? Are those coming along?
so yeah, that's, I don't, do you want to talk?
Yes, so I had a conversation with Megan from the village. I apologize, I don't remember her last name offhand, but.
It's hard to pronounce.
Nansky.
But
Posing it, okay. So I did have a conversation with her to let her know that we were looking at that again. It was her thought process that the only thing the previous commission members that discussed it with her were concerned about was the terms, the length of the lease, which was 99 years, and I think there's 70 or so left on it. So we were looking at amending that more to like 5 years. And then with Washington, we've been in communication with Sam Praviti, and we've had a couple of meetings now regarding that, and we're in the process of drafting a lease now.
Are you guys moving towards more like a commercial lease, or is it going to be still the $1 lease?
I don't think we've really gotten that far yet. I think it's going to be maybe something similar to what we have with the village, but I don't know that for sure. We're still kind of in the initial stages of communicating.
I know one of the big sticking points with the Village of Romeo was a guarantee by the townships.
Okay.
The whole reason we did the interlocal was to remove any liabilities of the township. And I think Parks and Rec is healthy enough financially that you don't need that guarantee anymore.
Right, okay.
So
That's
this-
good to know.
Okay. And then the schools, how's the school lease?
I think
coming?
the schools, from what I understand, Pam is working on that, and she had told us that the schools were not wanting to address that until after August, when the millages are approved. So they want to look at it
So
at
business
that
is
time.
as usual until then?
Yes. Yep.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question? Bob, did you have anything you wanted to add at all?
I knew, yeah. I was like, he's got more on the school.
Yeah, Bob Billick, Bruce Township. I was also in contact with the schools, and yeah, they are kind of being a little bit cautious, and, you know, I guess I don't blame them, because they've been getting a lot of bad press, I guess, if you will, from certain members of the Washington Township Board that think that somehow they're overcharging us or something like that. And as I've stated before, we're getting a deal from them. And for what we get, it's been a deal. And hopefully we can maintain that relationship and continue on with them as well. As far as the master plan is concerned, we were ready to go forward with the master plan in January, but again, there were some issues with certain members that pulled back and wouldn't support it. So, but we're moving along well. We've got good people, and everybody This lady has really been out there, as all of them have. I mean, it's been great, so.
Well, welcome aboard, Kim. You guys keep up the good work. Thanks for all you guys do. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, see you in another 3 months.
Yeah. Thank you again for letting us come up. Yeah, right.
yeah. Okay, we'll move on. Item 7A under new business, or 7B, 7A under new business is going to be the Romeo District Library Director update.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
Claire.
I'm Claire Meeker. I'm the director of the Romeo District Library, which serves Bruce and Washington and the village of Romeo. I have been there almost 6 years now. And I'm glad that Mike invited me to come out and talk to you tonight. Just wanted to share some statistics to start with. In March, we had 10,000 people come into our buildings. 1,200 of them attended programs at one of our 2 buildings. We had patrons using our digital services, which is our downloadable books, and our streaming services 4,700 times in the month of March. We currently have 2,000 residents in our service area who have library cards, which is a pretty fantastic percentage. We circulate approximately 150,000 items per year, and we are fine-free for all of our materials. A lot of people haven't realized that at this point, but all of our materials are fine-free, so but if you check out materials that you request from another library through us and you bring it back late, you still have to pay. We have found that we don't have people late on books, even though there are no fines, and people are really good about bringing things back on time. If they don't, they get charged a replacement cost, which gets their attention. So that has worked out well. We have public computers for anyone who needs them at both branches. We also have a strong Wi-Fi signal at both of our buildings that reaches out to the parking lot. So if you're ever in need of Wi-Fi, just park in our lot and you can use it in your car. We're happy to help people with computers and regularly help people who are job hunting, working on school or certifications, and people who are applying for assistance. So we're an essential service for a lot of folks in this community who need a little extra help or don't have the resources at home. We have collaborative efforts with the Romeo Community Schools so that all teachers and students have access to library cards and our services. Students are issued virtual library cards, which grants them access to free online tutoring, as well as databases they can use for assignments and research. We also have an outreach van. If you've seen the white van, the transit van, it goes to the 9th grade academy and the middle school every week to deliver books to the students there. They can come on the van and see what we have and check things out. We are operating debt-free with a budget of approximately $2.5 million. That's our annual budget, and have a good fund balance to handle repairs and other capital improvements. More than 90% of our budget comes from property taxes, and thank you to Frank's office for keeping things so efficient and getting us our money as we need it. We've also had clean audits for the last 5 years, so we're in good shape there. I wanted to tell you about some things you may not expect as services from the library. You can apply for a library card online. You don't have to come in and show your birth certificate or anything like that. We have ways that we can confirm your eligibility, and then we mail the card to you. So if you are interested in using our ebooks or downloadables and you don't have time to come to the library, you can apply online through our website, which is rdl.org. But I encourage you to come into the buildings because we have really great staff. We also have free notary services. A lot of people don't realize that. We have a group of staff members who've been approved or who have gotten certified as notaries. We just ask you to call first to make sure they're there and available. We have 24/7 holds lockers at both buildings. You may have seen them out in front of Kezar or as you've come into Grosvenor. Those are available at any time. You just request that the items that you're looking for be put in the lockers, and then you can come up and scan your card and the locker pops open. It's like Home Depot or Little Caesars or Amazon. We also have home delivery for anybody who requests it, and that's been a popular service. People who are worried about being out in public, or older folks, or people who just can't get out. One of our new services is a library of things that we have at the Grosvenor location. It includes GoPro cameras, Wi-Fi hotspots, a sewing machine, a microscope, a virtual reality headset, and vintage video game consoles. You can check these items out for 3 weeks at a time, and they're just for our residents. We're expanding that collection. We're going to have a radon detector and a seasonal affective disorder light that you can get. A lot of other things that I think will be really handy for people that they don't necessarily want to buy right away, but they can try them out at the library. The Michigan Activity Pass is available through our website, and with that, you can use your card to get free or discounted entries to parks, museums, and attractions. That includes Metro Parks. Our residents use the pass for Stony Creek pretty often, and that gets you in for free there. Meadowbrook Hall, the Selfridge Air Museum, the Sea Life Michigan Aquarium at Great Lakes Crossing, you can get passes to all of those things that are either discounted or free. You can also download ebooks, stream videos and TV shows, read magazines and newspapers, including the Macomb Daily. That's our most recent acquisition. It's full graphics on the day it's released, so you don't have to pay a subscription. You can just go online through rdl.org and pick the newspaper, and you'll see the whole thing there, ads and all. So we also have the Oakland Press and USA Today and the New York Times and all kinds of things you don't have to pay for because the library's paying for it. So we have story times all over, and not just at the library. Our librarians have done story times at local parks, including here, farms, orchards, and firehouses. We've gotten really good response from folks who aren't necessarily regular library users who will come to those. We have a librarian who's a tech tutor. So you can set up an appointment for him. If you know somebody who has a new phone or a tablet, maybe they got it for Christmas from their well-meaning kids and they don't know how to use it, you can send them to the library, and our librarian will sit down with them one-on-one and teach them how to use it and get things set up for them. We also have the Romeo Community Archives and a full-time archivist at the Kezar branch here in the village. You can research genealogy, the history of your house if you live in the village, military records, or the history of our area. We were fortunate to have the original copies of the Romeo Observer donated to the archives. Back to the mid-1800s, we have the actual copies that you're not allowed to touch. But we're in the midst of a project now that involves scanning all of those copies into digital format so they'll be searchable. So they'll have, so the general public will have access to them. So that's about all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
No.
That was a lot.
That was a lot.
The library got a lot to offer, it's just not checking out a book.
Yeah, there's a lot of
And our fearless president of our library board is Mrs. Smith. So, yeah, we have a terrific board. We've got 2 members from Bruce, Therese and Leanne Miller, if you know her, and then 2 from Romeo and 2 from Washington, and they've been really great. So we're lucky.
Yeah, truly. I mean, the library is more than just going and reading a book. It
Yeah,
is
obviously.
amazing what our public library has to offer.
Could I suggest that you come back here maybe every 6 months or so?
Yes, I would love to. Yeah, I'd be happy to, because we're doing stuff all the time. So I'd love to update you.
You
That
said
was
you got
very
an update.
informative.
Yeah.
You're going to get an updated one, right? Or is this?
That is the updated one. That has just been updated in the last week. So, and some Post-it notes for you. So,
Thanks.
thank you very much.
Thanks, Claire,
Thank
for
you.
coming on.
Claire?
And I can attest to your Wi-Fi. I actually just used it about an hour ago.
Oh, good.
Oh, my God. So it does reach.
Okay.
You're a plant, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
And move on, item 7. 7B is the GEM-X grant consulting agreement. Got Amanda Peters here. Thanks for being so patient, Amanda.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Amanda Peters. I am the founder and principal consultant for GEM-X Grant Consulting. I have some handouts here. I'm here to talk about your EPA grant that you got, your community program grants, and I've been going through some of the documentation.
Thank you.
And I'm trying to condense it for you and put it in a visual format so that it'll be a little easier to understand. It's quite an involved process. But I thought I'd start with just giving you some overview about me and my history, kind of how I learned to do grants. I've been doing this resource development and grant writing for about 18 years. In the last 5 years, I've amassed 75 million in my portfolio. I've secured and managed, mostly in higher ed. I did a lot of work in higher ed. I've filled tons of positions over the years. I started as an executive administrative assistant, so I got very familiar with trying to find the grants, read the RFPs, and then I moved into writing and, budget development and different things like that. Most recently, I was the grant manager at Washington Community College in Ann Arbor for 8 years. Before that, I worked at Mott Community College in Flint, Michigan. Currently, I am an development officer for Henry Ford Health in Detroit. I also do this. So I've been doing this for quite a long time. I've done state, federal, corporate, and foundation grants. And just I listed there on the first handout there a couple of the things that I've recently had funded, just to kind of give you an example of my portfolio. But I'm here to talk specifically about your EPA community grant. Mike and I connected about a month ago, and I started looking into it. It's an appropriation, so it's technically not a grant yet, but so they require you to go through the entire grants process, so you have to apply for it, although you're not competing for it. So I've outlined kind of there on that second sheet, it says community grants process. They have it broken down, the Environmental Protection Agency. If I use an acronym that you're not familiar with, just stop me. But they have it broken down into processes. So they talk about pre-award. So one of our first steps is we have to get set up with SAM.gov. That gives us the opportunity to get the UEI, which I know you have currently, but then you can apply for federal grant contracts after that, but you have to have that first. So we've been kind of hitting a couple of little bumps trying to get that all set up. We've submitted a letter to assign Mike as the admin entity, because they have your UEI application in there, but they don't, it's not validated. Bruce Township isn't validated as an entity yet. So we had to submit a letter and we have to assign his role. So we're in the process of doing that and getting that sorted out, because that is the very first step. If we don't get that, we can't do anything else. So once we get that secured, which I've been in contact with the Region 5 EPA contact, his name is Andrew Tracy. We've had meetings with him and talked about kind of what the process looks like. So we've made that initial contact with him. Very down-to-earth guy, very helpful. So we are working on the SAM.gov, and then the next step is to get into grants.gov, which is where we'll actually get our grant application. So we'll get to see what our materials look like, what we have to submit to get the money. So that's going to include a number of forms. They call them like SF 424 forms. And then there's the budget forms, and then they tell you kind of what they want you to write in your narrative. It can be anywhere from 10 pages to 30 pages worth of tell us what you're going to do with our money. So we've got a few things to do in the pre-award before we can get down to the nitty-gritty and start doing the actual work. So we've got a NEPA review we have to do too, which is an environmental scan basically. We have to get a historical architect person on board to make sure we're not disturbing any, burial grounds or anything like that. And then we can develop our work plan, which we're planning on kind of using something that was developed a number of years ago and seeing if we can implement some of those activities into our current work plan. So we haven't gotten into that yet. We're trying to take this thing step by steps. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So, and then you do a cost and procurement review, and then that satisfies EPA's initial pre-award phase. Then you can move into actually doing the things. So you get your award letter, you can start working on your activities that you outlined in your work plan, and then you can start submitting requests for payment. And this is a reimbursement thing, so they have a whole 80-page document on how you get reimbursed. I did not synthesize that here. But you can reimburse, and then they have requirements around payroll. So if you're hiring engineers or construction crews or whatever, and then they monitor you all through the whole project. So there's constant monitoring to make sure that you're on task, that you're doing things according to their regs and regulations. And then so once you implement everything, then you move into what they call the closeout phase. That's outlined there too, step number 3. That's where your work plan activities are done, everything is built. Then they start saying, okay, now we need a final report. They want, a financial report where you put your money. They want a programmatic report. They have all these different reports that they want. That's way down the road, but there are FAQ documents. I have some with me. If you have questions, I'll try to answer them. If I don't know the answer, I will find it out. The FAQs document is 25 pages. The implementation guide is 80. So there's a lot of reading there. If you need some nighttime reading, I would suggest picking up one of those things. But then I put in there also some things to know, just some kind of caveats to the whole process. One is the cost share. There is a 20% cost share requirement. There are a number of things that you can use that are non-federal to meet that 20%. In-kind is one of them, so anyone that you have doing administrative work, kind of overseeing this project, a percentage of that can go in. I don't know if you have an indirect cost rate agreement already in place. If not, that's something that we can talk about at a later time. But and then I wanted to point out that they have a whole website dedicated to training materials that are free about how to get grants, how to implement them, their specific grants, EPA, community grants. They have like 2-hour long webinars and things. So if there's anything that you want to learn that you don't currently know how to do, there's probably some type of resource on there for you. Okay, so I think I've pretty much covered that. Do you guys have any questions so far? I know that's kind of a data dump for you.
Have you been able to get over the hurdle of SAM.com?
I am working on that. We submitted our letter, and then they came back and said, this just happened this morning, so, but they said they wanted, whatever was registered when the UEI was issued, it wasn't, the letter we submitted to get Mike as the admin, the entity admin, the information, the address here and what we submitted doesn't match. And so, and then they said the official business entity, because I put Bruce Township.
I think it's coming back as a Township of Bruce, and I was having that
That's why I'm
problem when I
like, there's
first
something-
initially went. I did like I said, I
Yeah.
did apply for. I didn't even know that I even got the UEI number because it was so confusing for me.
It is. Yeah, they make it a very cumbersome process.
And
It's
there's
not
so many
simple.
levels of security.
There is. And that's just the thing. If it says Bruce Township, but we filed it as Township of Bruce, they'll kick it back and say it doesn't match. So, I mean, that's kind of a good and bad thing. But so we are still working on that. I'm hoping to have that done. What is today? By the end of the week, probably. I'm going to resubmit the letter tomorrow and see, because they've had a quick turnaround. So I'm hoping we can have that settled, and so we could get into grants.gov and see what we really actually need to do. Because until we get in there and get their requirements, their request for proposal, we don't really know. We have a general idea, but we don't know the specifics. So I'm hoping to have all that in there. So the next sheet is actually the timeline. I tried to break it down. There's still a lot of unknowns, so this is just my best guess. So this is going to evolve as we move forward, but I wanted to kind of just show you some of the work that's been done. In the last month or so, I've gone through their implementation guide. I found the funded projects list so that I could verify that you guys were on there as an appropriated amount, what it's for, the M33 and McVicker.
Everybody, you got that?
Yeah.
Kind of a timeline. I printed a timeline for everybody.
Okay.
That was the pack that was in your. I think she said it was in your mailbox yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what she's going to go over right now.
This one right here I'm going to go over. Yep.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, I printed a new one today because I added in some of the things that we've been doing recently, because we did quite a bit of work this week. But I just put in some of the things that we've been doing. So we connected with EPA. We had our meeting with them. We, kind of got the details on what we need to do with this environmental review, because this is new to me. I've done EPA grants before, but at that time they didn't require this type of review, and they didn't require it with the histological or historical aspect of it. Even he stated that was a new element that the state of Michigan has kind of been giving them a lot of pushback on. So they do offer a third party, so a person who can come do this for us. So we're going to get more information on that. I don't know if that's something that we can include in our budget as a reimbursable cost, or because if you go find your own, there's this whole checklist of things that you have to do, that they have to meet this certain criteria. So I would suggest a third party, if that's okay with you guys, because it'll be a whole lot simpler and faster. And then so we've gone through a whole bunch of stuff. I watched their webinars. We've had a couple of different meetings. And then in April, we did a few additional things. Mike and I have connected a couple times. I've been working on the SAM.gov stuff. I've created these graphic overviews and stuff, trying to condense the information that they have out there. And then in May, kind of what I'm hoping that we can do in the month of May is get that NEPA review done so that we can move on and start developing our work plan and start, implementing some of that stuff. I'll start filling out all the forms that you need. I'll start writing the narrative. I'll help with the work plan. A lot of that information will have to come out of the heads of the people who are actually doing the work, because I'm not a construction person. I don't know what that looks like. So the content experts will provide that to me, and I'll help develop it and ask the right questions and all that. But then I'll be working also on, with whoever your financial contact is for like budgets and things. So this is kind of rolling out the way I envision it. I'm hoping these administrative things can just be check, check, check and get on with the business. And then in June, by June, we should have our award letter. Everything is submitted that is administrative. Then we can actually really start doing the work because you've officially gotten your grant money. So that's when we start submitting, payment requests for reimbursement charges, doing the actual work. Construction crews can go out and start breaking ground. And then I lumped the last 6 months of the year together as ongoing because I don't really know what that's going to look like yet as far as rolling out, how much work's going to be done in what month and whatnot. So I just blocked off June to December. And then I used the first 3 months of next year as closeout stuff. I'm assuming by December we'll be done working. I don't really know. Again, I'm not familiar with construction stuff that well. But by then, we can start working on final reports. I can get you templates, to help you know what information to put in there. That's when you start organizing your records and stuff, so because you're going to have to retain your records. So EPA will be doing final reviews to make sure everything you put in your work plan has been done. They'll look at your reimbursement forms, all of the, the kind of things you do when you close out a financial account. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Do you guys have any questions? Or is your brain still trying to wrap around it?
It is, like she was saying, it's a reimbursement grant, so basically we're not going to get a check for the $2 million or the $1.4 million or 1.6. It's, as we do the work, then we submit an invoice. I asked what the turnaround time was to Tracy, I think. He said 5 to 10 days usually, right?
Yeah.
By the time they cut us a check. So
And
we have the work done, and then we submit an invoice,
Yeah.
and then we get reimbursement.
And I think it's like 80% of what you reimburse because the other 20% is counted toward. Yeah, it's counted toward. Yeah, exactly. It's counted towards your 20% cost share. And there is a cost share waiver, which I'm going to do some research on because I'm not familiar with Bruce Township yet. But there's median household income, poverty levels, all those types of things. That if you check certain boxes, you can waive that. But I don't know if that applies or not. But it's something we can look into.
Possibly in the area that we're going to go into, our mobile home district,
Okay.
which part of the water main extension is going to go into, there's a possibility we may meet some of that criteria. I did look it over. I don't know any of the other, I don't think we're going to fall in any of the other buckets at all. So.
Okay. Yeah, I did, before I came here, I did take a drive out there and I saw where there's like the overpass. Is that the break? There was like a subdivision on this side and then you go over an overpass.
That's
where it
correct.
curves around. Okay.
Exactly where it's
I
at.
just wanted to get a visual so when I'm writing, I'm very visual.
So I did have her contract was submitted to Siebert and Delosky. Christine Anderson did review it. She redlined a lot on it. And
she did.
come back and they went back and forth with the draft. You had the final approval from Christine, which I've got her letter in here that she's fine with the way the contract's written. So, I feel very confident working with Amanda. Very excited. I'm glad to see this thing's finally getting off the ground after being stagnant for a year now.
And we asked if there was any kind of like expiration, because, I was getting a little bit concerned that so much time had passed, and he said there's no expiration on the funds, so the money is yours, but it is Congress, so obviously, things can change. But right now, there's no rush to get your money, there's no deadlines or anything like that, so it's however quick or fast you want to move is fine with EPA, so.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I got a few. What kind of corporation is JMX?
It's an LLC.
LLC?
Yep.
And how long you guys been in business?
It's been about a year. I've been doing this work for about 18, but I decided to start doing consulting work because I have a lot of friends who run nonprofits. And so I kind of got into wanting to help people connect with grant money because a lot of nonprofits have very small budgets, operating budgets, and everybody wants grant money, but nobody knows how to get it. And so I just kind of started dabbling on the side and decided to start building it. Plus, I'm thinking, okay, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I'm a planner. So, so I just started dabbling and built my business. And so I only take on like a client or two because I have a full-time job, so I'm very selective on who I work with. I have 3 clients right now. I've worked with MSU, I've worked with U of M, I've worked with large and small. So we've only been in business officially for about a year, but I've been kind of doing it, helping out people for quite a long time.
So what kind of training do you have for this grant writing?
Well, I've done EPA. I've been writing grants for 14 years.
You've done EPA grants?
Yeah, I've done EPA grants, Department of Labor, Department of Ed. I did the Brownfield grant that redid Chevy in the Hole by Kettering in Flint, Michigan. That $4 million grant was something I wrote. I don't implement them, so once I get you the money, that's for you content experts to go out and grab shovels. But I will help get you there, and I will answer any questions, and if I don't know how to do it, I'll figure it out. So I always tell Mike, send it to me, I'll get it.
Okay, I noticed the contract only goes through June 3rd, 2024. Is that long enough?
It is long enough to get in and see what we're going to have to do. I wanted to keep it short in case, I'd like to always leave a window in case people decide they don't want to move forward, or, if they're, not comfortable with my speed of things, if I'm being too pushy because I like to get things done or not moving fast enough. So I made it kind of short, but I'm open to extending it. Obviously, I just like to review it every 30 to 60 days to make sure the scope of work is being updated and correct. I couldn't say for 6 months what I'm going to do because we're not really entirely sure. So I felt comfortable saying in 60 days, these are the things we could do.
Is there something magical about June 30th other than?
Not really. It was just when we started talking, it was March. So I just added a couple months, 60 days. Do you like that date, or you don't like that date?
Well, I thought maybe it would coincide with some type of milestone that
well, we were thinking June would start work. We would have the work plan developed and start implementing work. So I figured by then we'd have more details on what is actually going to be in the work plan, and then maybe I could update things then.
And then we have a rate of $75 an hour and then $100 an hour
For the writing
a different type of activity.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any cap on that for this term?
I don't have a cap. I don't know what your budget is, but I do not have a cap because I can't really estimate how long it's going to take me to write it because I don't know what they're requiring just yet. Average is 40 to 60 hours to develop a federal proposal. As far as narrative and work plan supplements, there's usually 6 to 8 extra supplements, letters of support, those types of things. But the average rule of thumb is 40 to 60 hours. But until I got an actual look at the RFP, the request for proposal, I didn't want to quote any type of hours. But I can do that before I begin writing if that's what you need.
And those additional services and services to be determined necessary?
Yeah.
On the bottom of the page there.
So we're looking at $4,000 to $6,000 at ballpark?
Yeah, that's probably fair. Yep.
That includes those?
Go ahead.
It includes virtual meetings or me and Mike connecting or whatever. I don't charge for those kind of things.
Okay. So
just mostly when I have to sit down and spend a couple hours doing some developing or
does
writing.
the general liability insurance cover errors and omissions?
Yes. Yes. Your attorney made sure I got the correct insurance.
And then, Mike, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Do we have customers lined up for this activity?
So, yeah, we are looking to run it into, like I said, the mobile home parks. We got Havens Ridge is on hold right now. They've reached out to me to find out what the status is.
What's Haven Ridge?
That's the mobile home park. We got the Kolonowski property, which is Summit Plastics, is also continuously calling because he's looking to sell that property. Obviously, if he gets water over there, the value of the property is going to go up. We got the Muir property now that is going to be coming up too, so that developers interested, and also the Lombardo, which is Edgemont, which is already kind of site plan.
Well, I talked to the mobile home park about 3 years ago, just because I happened to be there doing some other business. And they said they put in another well rather than hook up. Are they still interested in water?
So they did put a new well in, but the quality of their water that there is still not very good. So they're having issues, and for them to actually, and then they were also looking to they were looking to expand their park into what they call their high-end mobile home park. I think it's more of like a
They're trying to
community.
upgrade it, yeah.
Yeah, so, which they would have to expand their water district at the same time, so. But yeah, there's people waiting to jump on, so, and hopefully get them paying to the SAD and cover our 20% cost on that.
So the risk I see to us is, let's say we get to June 30th and Amanda's too busy. What do we do?
Well, I've outlined your process, but I would do that to you. If I take you on as a client, I'm going to see you through to the end. It's just an integrity thing for me.
Okay.
You know, and I have a website, so I have testimonials on there from previous clients that I've worked with. So if you want to just kind of see some of the things they're saying about me.
Because contractually, there's no commitment beyond June 30th.
There isn't. No, that's
or
correct.
June 3rd, so.
Yep, which, I mean, I'm open to before we start really getting into the nitty-gritty. If you want to add a little more time, that'd be fine with me. I just didn't want to make you commit to something before we know what we're committing to.
I just don't want you to walk if we're
Yeah,
making great
you're like,
progress.
you got us
and
this
then
far, now we don't know
I
what
can
we're
change
doing.
my mind.
Yeah, no, I will see you through to the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, in your packet, I gave everybody kind of what Amanda and I have been working on all along. She has invoices, about $800 so far, but it kind of gives you a breakdown on what we've been billed for. There's been a lot of communication meetings like we've had with Tracy Andrews already. That was an hour-long meeting there, but she's making really good progress as far as I'm concerned. I'm very satisfied, very happy that you're doing what you're doing, and I really
Appreciate
appreciate
that.
it.
This information was really helpful. Thank you.
Good.
I do have one other question.
Sure.
Is sewer plant considered EPA type stuff?
Yes.
That'll be next, Mike.
He's like, what did we say about one bite
Please
at a
leave
time?
time in your schedule for Bruce Township to look at that, please.
Okay. Yeah, I know
some
there's,
point in time.
you know, there's a lot of like money going toward like trying to redo things in an energy efficient way, and you know, water quality obviously is an issue. So there's been a lot of grant money being put out or being talked about to be put toward those types of initiatives. So I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't some new opportunities coming up very soon. Spring and fall is usually a rich time for as far as grant cycles go for federal money. You know, they're usually every like quarter or so. So who knows what we'll see, you know, at the end of the summer or whatever.
Are you well-versed in like what opportunities there are for grant money?
I am, yeah. I've been doing this for a long time, so I get way more email than I would like to. But I'm signed up for everybody and their brother and aunt's newsletters and, you know, daily funding opportunities. And I get a listserv. I don't know if you know what those are, but it's a daily digest of everything that's new to grants.gov. It's usually about 20 pages long, but they issue every day new opportunities through every federal agency. So I weed through those every day. It's just sort of as part of my process. You know, I do it partly for my day job, but I also do it for, you know, the clients that I'm working with or people that, you know, I have a wish list, I call it, of people who have reached out and said, hey, this is kind of what we want to do. Can you let us know if ever a grant opportunity comes over that aligns with this? So even though there isn't anything at that time, there may be. Like I just started working with a farm-to-table restaurant in Ann Arbor. They've been waiting for some composting type funding and stuff. So that was 6 months ago and it just came up. So I do try to stay plugged into what is coming out.
So go ahead.
I'm sorry, are you familiar with the BEAD program
I am not. Mm-mm.
regarding internet?
Okay. I know we were just looking at a USDA one for distance learning, but that was for like telemedicine and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
What Frank's saying is we have opportunity.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, and you know, and I everything that, you don't go to school to become a grant writer, so everything I know, I've learned on the job, and over the years, I started as the admin, so, you know, I've learned the job from beginning to end. I've been the director, I've been, you know, the administrative assistant, I've been the writer, I've been the manager, so I've filled all of the roles from ideation to implementation, you know, so I'm very familiar with all of the things that go into that, and I have an appreciation for all of that. So I have a lot of skills that I can offer, and if I can't do it, I know probably someone who does. I have like 10 people in my network. They don't work for me, but we collaborate when, you know, there's something that I'm not that versed in or they're not, you know, we kind of just subcontract with each other. You know, my $100, I'll give you $50 if you help me figure this out, you know, kind of. So we're going to get the job done, is the point I'm making.
So Amanda, which of these jobs is your current full-time gig?
Henry Ford Health. I'm a development officer in the foundation and corporate relations office. I'm hybrid, so I only go to Detroit 2-3 days a week, which is kind of nice. Otherwise, I get to work from my home office. I live in Grand Blanc.
Can you work from home this week and next week because of what's going on downtown?
Yeah, and the NFL draft has got Detroit nutty. And, you know, there's mergers and things, and so there's just all kinds of buzz, you know, Ascension, and there's an Ascension in Grand Blanc, so every time I go to the doctor, everyone's like, oh, you work for Henry Ford Health? What can you tell me, you know? I'm not the 1%, so not much.
I have a
Thank you.
question about payments. It says in here weekly. We typically do our runs twice a week,
Yeah.
every 2 weeks.
Yep, that's fine. I've been doing it like every 2 weeks or so, depending on how much I do in a week. I didn't want to submit an invoice for like $1,000 all at once or something, you know. So I've been doing it every week, every other weekish. But payments, whenever it comes, it comes. I keep track of when they're paid. I'm not in any kind of rush or anything, so. I appreciate
There's a
the process.
possibility we may get some reimbursement for like this indirect cost too with your.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. There's a whole section in their frequently asked questions about what is reimbursed, because they were talking about implementing an admin to the grant. So I'm going to work with Andrew. He said he was going to check into it and see. He didn't know if we could or not. Every other time that he's been told no, because usually grant money is for future work, not work that's being done now. So, but it depends, I think, who answers. So I'm going to follow up with him and see if he got an answer on that, and try to make sense of some of the stuff that's actually in print, because that's kind of what you can use to hold their feet to the fire. So we're looking into that.
Anybody else have any?
I think we have 5 smart people on the board, but I think Amanda's smarter than us.
Yeah.
Maybe in this area only.
I don't doubt that at all.
Well, I appreciate that vote of confidence.
So at this time, I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the GEM X grant consulting agreement as presented.
Or-
Got 2 supports from Giorgio and Reese.
Just pick one.
Can we get
I
a,
like your presentation.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right,
Thank you
well,
for
it's very
your-
nice to meet you all.
Nice
We'll
to
be in
meet you.
contact.
Thank you.
We have to
roll
vote now.
call? Yeah, we need a roll call, please.
And I'd be happy to come back, you know, maybe in July or something, and kind of give an update, because then we'll have some more specifics. So just so you guys feel kind of in the loop and know what's happening, and, you know, don't just see
Come in
invoices
before
and no
June
face.
3rd, so we can extend.
Yeah, there you go. He'll be sending me an email May 1st. Are we ready to update this contract?
Yeah.
All right, well, I hope you guys have a great evening.
Thank
you
you.
so much
Thank
for
you
your
very
time.
much for coming
Thanks
out,
for coming.
Amanda. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion's approved. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you,
I'll
Amanda.
get you that
Thank you.
signed. I'll sign this and get it to you.
I'll work on the entity letter tomorrow again.
Perfect. Yeah, no, thanks. Sounds really good.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night, thank you for coming.
This timeline, I'll keep track of this, but I'm not going to keep putting the packet together for everybody, if you guys don't mind, but I'll keep a running copy of what's going on. If you got any questions, just let me know. Are you here for a particular agenda item at all?
Yeah,
next
she's
one.
R&E.
Pardon me?
R&E Family Foundation, right.
Oh, okay.
You are very
I'm
patient.
trying to clear the room. It's
Yeah, we
like,
should have put her up for, because I just noticed that her application there is 30 Powell Road, and I think that's Romeo, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, well, R&E is in the Village of Romeo, so I didn't know exactly what it was for. Is this,
Well, it's for, you can see the charitable.
For a gaming license.
yeah, but is that,
license.
but
I had a question, why are we doing this one?
So yeah, go ahead.
okay. Yeah,
Well, let's-
I'll introduce, we got item 7C, the R&E Family Foundation Drive, the resolution for a charitable gaming license for 2024 to 2025.
Hi, I'm Amy Smith. I'm the administrator for the foundation at R&E. R&E Automated's over on Powell Road, and back in 2019, they started a family foundation, and I was hired in October to run that foundation. And forgive me, because our mailing address says Bruce Township. That's why the application says Bruce Township. But the reason why we're applying for a gaming license is we do events to raise money for our children's foundation. And in order to run raffles, we have to be able to pull a state license. And in order to have a state license, which they've already granted me one for our event we have coming up in June for our clay shoot. But prior to or before applying for another license, I have to have an amendment or a resolution from our governing body saying that we are okay to have these raffles within the area.
So are we the governing body, or is it going to be the Village of Romeo?
I assumed because it was a Bruce Township mailing address, so if that's not the case, then I will address the Romeo board. I guess it's kind of confusing down there.
It would be the Village of Romeo.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Right. I mean, they pay taxes, but that's,
Right.
They would pay taxes to the village?
yeah, as well. They get 3 taxes.
But this is officially in the village.
Yes.
I hate to put you through the,
No, you're fine, because I had, again, I did not have any idea that, because the mailing address was Bruce Township, that it was actually the Village of Romeo.
Yeah.
So,
Amy does a great job with R&E. We had, we allowed her to put a bin in here at Christmas time.
Yep.
Got a few gifts
Yep.
for the less fortunate. But
yes,
they do an outstanding job in their building over there. Once a week, they
Yes.
they get all kinds of food donated to them. They put together lunch packs for backpack. Is the backpack program?
well, we have 3 programs.
Yeah.
We have the back-to-school program, we have our Christmas cheer program, which is when you let us have the bin here, and we also have our elementary eats food program, which currently we have 3 schools enrolled in that. We have 2 in the Romeo School District and 1 in the Utica Shelby District, and they're all food insecure children. They're part of the free and/or reduced lunch program. So we supply every week during the school year their weekend meals, because most of these kids, the only meals they get are while they're at school. So we don't want them to go hungry on the weekends. So that's our biggest program that we have. And currently we have 262 children enrolled in that program that we pack food for every Wednesday. So they get 2 breakfasts, 2 lunch, and 2 dinners, and a couple snacks every weekend during the school year.
And they do it discreetly, correct?
Very discreetly, yep. They're in nondescript bags. We packed today. I had about 12 volunteers come to pack, and they'll get delivered to the schools tomorrow. And then on Friday, they discreetly distribute them to the children. And then we also supply those children with their back-to-school supplies at the beginning of the year, everything from their pens and pencils to lunch boxes, backpacks. And they're also part of our Christmas cheer program, as well as any other underprivileged children in the area that apply. This past Christmas, we did, I think, 335 children, and about 40 of those had no homes at all. So, and then we usually supply their parents with a few things too. So it's a great program. And again, I'd like to apologize based on the address, not knowing that it was the Village of
no,
Romeo.
not a,
So, but I'm glad to bring attention to us, to you guys as well, though, too, because it really is a great program, and it's grown a lot from 2019 when they supplied, 2020 they actually started the food program right in the midst of COVID, and, we had 100 kids in the program at that time, and right now, like I said, we have 262, and we're looking to take on Amanda Moore, and that would increase us probably about another 200 children. So our goal is to have at least 500 kids in our program by 2025. So doing the events, just looking to acclimate some more money so that we can contribute more to these children. So the ultimate goal of Dan, the owner of R&E, he's very, very philanthropic. Ultimate goal is he would like to take these kids from beginning to end, meaning supplying their food, but then if they need tutoring services, if they need help with college, if they need help with sports, things like, he would like to take it and keep moving and keep going with it. So he's got a...
I'd like to say that I'm glad you picked the wrong place to come. I didn't know you existed, and that is an awesome foundation.
Yeah, and that's what I was
Wonderful what
hired
you're
for, was to kind of try to get it out there more. They've done a great job, and especially since they really, really started pushing it in the midst of COVID, they were still able to do a great job. And myself and my coworker Kim, we're hoping to take it even further. So, not knowing, I came from healthcare fundraising. Listening to Amanda was great, because I've been in healthcare fundraising for 17 years. I came from McLaren and decided to go this route, which is different than, healthcare is different than children. I did not realize how many children just in Macomb County alone need that extra love, that extra help. So, yeah.
Who's
Thanks.
the philanthropist again? Who heads this?
So Dan, I always get his last name wrong, but it's Jarazewski. He's the owner of R&E Automated, and he's always been very philanthropic in his life. And in 2019, his wife and children decided to grant him with this surprise and started this family foundation. So it's R&E Family Foundation. We're also known as DRIVE, which is driving for a brighter future for children. So. Yeah, and it just has gotten too big they ran it as themselves, as a family, and now it's gotten just a little too big, and so needed a little bit of extra help.
That's a good problem to have.
It's a very good problem to have, yes it is.
Everybody watching has heard about you too. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. They're trying to get the name out there, so that's great.
when do you need the resolution signed by? Because I'm afraid if it's got to go to the board, the Village of Romeo. the Village of Rome is good. They just had their board meeting this past Monday, so.
Okay. And
know.
as long, our next event, like I said, our June event, I'm already okay with that. They gave us our license. Our next event after that is in August for our golf outing. So as long as I get this information to the state of Michigan prior to August, then I won't have any trouble getting any licenses. And I won't need this again. This is just to put on the books that, we are approved to have raffles periodically.
No, it's a gray area. I mean, it's a governing body. I guess Bruce could be almost considered because it's in Bruce Township, on the Bruce Township side, but it's still within the Village of Romeo. So.
Let's do it. And then
I do have a contact at the state, and I can reach out and say, hey, this is the situation I've got going on. Is this,
Why don't we go ahead and make motion to approve? And if you can get it okay through the state, then I don't see no reason why that would hurt
How
us.
about approve it pending that this is in our jurisdiction? That way there, if it's not, then it goes to the village, but she doesn't walk away with nothing if this is the place.
Support.
Okay, so motion to approve.
It's got to be motion by resolution.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to make the motion then, Mike? Go ahead and move.
Motion by resolution to approve the Arnie Family Foundation resolution for charitable gaming licenses, provided that Bruce Township is the governing body to approve this.
I'll second. If there's no other discussion, can we get a roll call, please, Anne Marie?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. So what we do is, I guess we can fill it out, get a tour.
Already started.
Okay, and when do you want her to come and pick it up? Maybe tomorrow?
Yeah. You're around tomorrow?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you. And if you guys
Good
ever
luck.
are looking for, wanting to see what we do, every Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we pack food during the school year.
Every
So,
Wednesday
Every
at 3?
Wednesday at 3 o'clock throughout the school year. So we have about, I don't know, was there maybe 6 weeks left of school or so? So, yeah, if you're ever wanting to see, I know Frank came once to see what we were up to, and it's quite a process, isn't it? Yeah.
When-
Yeah. And we have a lot of high schoolers that come and help out. It's a good way for National Honor students to earn their volunteer hours. So we have a lot of kids from Dakota High School, from Romeo. We just had a couple from Clinton show up the past couple weeks to get their hours in. So, yeah.
When's the clay shoot? So you had a clay.
That is June 21st
Where's that going to be at?
at the Bald Mountain out in, what is that, Oakland? I think that's Oakland County. So, yep. Yep. And then we have our.
He's a champion clay shooter.
No. Yeah?
Who? Oh. I'll give it a try.
Wonderful. Yeah, yeah. If you ever want to, I have a card with me too, if anybody ever wants to check out our website. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy.
Good luck. Thought we cleared the room when my wife walked in.
That's a first.
Yeah, it was the first time.
She's got pie?
No, but she's got it, yeah.
That's right.
Oops.
All right, we'll move on to item 7D, which is our phone contract. Thank you very much. Very nice of you to come out. Keep up the good work, okay?
That's
Thanks.
terrific.
Item 7D, the Tech Mode phone contract. Oh, that says phone contract, but I put Tech Mode in front of it. So. Susan's had something.
Well, maybe Frank wants to.
Oh, yeah.
Where we stand.
This was discussed back in December, I believe, about moving away from Tech Mode and going to Orange Cloud. They would provide the same service at a savings, I believe it was like $1,200 a month between the fire department and the township hall. And the board did approve it. And because of the weather and being able to get parts that they needed and getting pole climbers, because they had to send pole climbers up to the towers simultaneously, they, it's taken a while. So now we're down to, like 3 months left of the contract, and it's pretty much, the savings would have offset the penalty. But now it's gone the other way, so we might have to wait until August.
I noticed that they said they were going to switch everything over there, and they were going to do a 30-day trial, or they can let it run, I think, without being switched over.
Right.
I mean, is there any other way, or to iron out any of the hiccups possibly that maybe, any issues they might have?
Yeah, I'm sure they can.
I mean, like I said, now the cost over the savings is,
Right.
we're only going to wait till August 18th or August 19th. So, I mean, we're looking, if they get hooked up the 1st of May, we got May through June, and then June through July, it's only a difference of 45 more days.
Right. Yeah.
So you're recommending we wait then?
Just to save from the early termination, $3,000 on the contract from
Right.
Tech Mode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
They did put them, didn't they put the equipment up?
Yep.
The other day, I
They
believe.
put the equipment up on this tower. I believe they're still working on the other tower. That is for
That's for internet.
internet.
Yep.
So what are we voting on? Or is it
I don't know if
FYI?
we are voting on, I didn't put this in the packet.
I think it's just an FYI, I don't know.
No, I put it on because you were going to end the contract, and that was going to be a $3,000. And so I'm just curious about how this transition's going to work, especially with the software. We have to return all these phones, and
You probably will, because they're giving us all new phones. They're updated phones, which they say they're pretty similar.
this is a first for Orange Cloud. We're the first.
No, they have other customers, I think they do with this with.
These phones are a huge thing. It makes me a little nervous about a transition.
But didn't we already approve Orange Cloud to do this?
We
You
had
did.
discussion about it in December, but we didn't take a vote.
Right.
We didn't? Thought we did.
It just said, I went back and looked at the minutes because I was curious too.
So what?
It was on the agenda in August, but it got removed. And I can't remember why.
This,
I must have done something.
so I mean, this is going to give Orange Cloud the opportunity to go ahead and, if we keep it running for, it's not like we're going to be at no time at all. They've got
You got time to work out
a
the.
few months
like
to
you
work
said.
out all the
Yep.
issues. And it is, Chief, you also agree there's significant savings on,
It's a huge savings for the fire department. We're moving forward, at least with the internet. It is a substantial savings for the fire department. So what we're going to do is we're going to be in parallel. So we're going to run it for 2-3 months with what we currently have side by side, and see if we have any issues. They've also installed a backup system for us, which is huge.
Have we approved anything?
I couldn't find anything. Can you look up?
I remember talking about it. I remember that we did I thought it was an approval to go ahead and switch over
I
because.
think for the internet, but then the phones is kind of an afterthought. That's what makes me nervous.
I agree, phones are a big thing, but this gives them a great opportunity to go ahead and figure it out. And if the savings justifies it,
Right.
How much is the savings?
I think it was in the area of 27,000.
Honestly, I think for the fire department, it's probably, and I apologize, I don't have those numbers. We did run them.
It was like
It's been a while,
18,000 for
but
you and like.
I would say it's probably somewhere around 18,000 just for the fire department
Right.
alone,
And for the township, it was like another.
combined between internet and the phone systems. We currently pay roughly, and don't quote me on this, about $400 per facility just for internet a month. We're looking to go down to approximately, I believe, 100 per facility.
Okay, so
25%
we're
savings.
looking at the great savings, and we've done some research, we have some background on this Orange Cloud, correct? Okay, and so you mentioned that you were going to run the current service along with the Orange Cloud, if we approve that.
Correct.
Run them side by side for a couple of months until this contract actually expires.
We do not currently, the fire department has no contracts. We're talking
So we
about,
just have the township has it.
the township, we're talking, you guys are talking about phones, we're talking about internet. So our internet providers that we have are completely expired. The last contract expired, I believe it was in March.
So what are you running side by side that you were saying?
We're running the internet side by side along with a backup to make sure that our internet never goes down. So we've always
And
had
who's the
issues.
backup?
They added a backup to that system, so we have a dedicated line. That's why they're up on the towers. That is our dedicated internet.
So you're already using Orange Cloud?
They're in the process of finalizing it.
But we never approved it.
It was
Orange Cloud has been approved as our carrier on our
There's no
tower.
cost to the fire department, other than we're reducing our internet bills.
I think that was a decision we on the side. It wasn't a cost.
The Orange Cloud is providing everything for this. There's no
Oh, you know
cost.
what, I think.
There's
it
no
was an
cost to the
FYI,
fire
wasn't it,
department.
that, hey, we saved some money that wasn't
It's
necessary.
just a reduction in
Right.
our
Because we
bill.
don't make all operational
Okay.
decisions as a board.
Right.
So,
It was just when this came up, it was cost us $3,000.
So this is more
And with the
FYI, we
board,
don't
as
want
far
to
as the
cancel this
phones?
contract because there's so little time left.
Right.
because you have the contracts for the phones.
I
The only
get
thing
it.
I requested when me and Frank talked
Okay.
is, I believe we're paying possibly for like 18 phones. We don't need 18 phones. So that's also a reduction. So for.
This is going to be a huge process. I just don't want to.
It's going to be a big process because you are changing the phone systems. But for us, we're integrating it and we're doing it because we're going to put everything on the fire department side. So when we do have power outages and we have other issues, our systems aren't going to go down. For us, this is huge because they put in that backup system.
I will tell you, the company I work for, we switched out our phone system, nightmare. I mean, it's finally worked out, but we still have issues. So,
What were the issues?
the phones would be, they would go down, and they're not supposed to. We couldn't get phones to work, we couldn't figure out why. And now, with the township, we have the recording system, so you have to make sure that's functioning. There's a lot to it, and it sounds to me like 3 months, does that seem like enough time to get another system in place and really get the bugs ironed out of it? I don't think so. Maybe we waited too long to do that. If that was the ultimate goal, was to switch to save money, which ultimately, that's what we want to do.
We had a meeting with Eli, came in the other day, and I know he's the one that owns the company, but he felt 100% confident in doing it. It's going to work. Were you there too, weren't you, Chief?
Right.
What did he say? He said, oh, yeah, no problem.
And
Didn't
there's
he
no
say he was doing it
commitment.
somewhere
There's
else?
no commitment to the fire department. And again, I'm talking about the internet, you're talking about the phones. There's no commitment to the fire department on any of this. Because he feels confident that it's going to work, so, okay, get it done. It's been a long time process. I mean, it's been 8 months, almost. We've been
Yep.
discussing this, having meetings back and forth.
I do think that the amount of the savings is well worth looking into doing this because of the savings, and why would you want to throw that money away? But you have to be prepared that if it's not going to work or we have some issues, we need to have some kind of backup thing. What are we going to do if the phones happen to go down for a day or two and we have to get them in to figure out what happened? Are we prepared for that? That would be my only concern. I think it's worth doing a change if it is a good system and if we are going to save this kind of money that you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, what they did to the tower compared to what Air Advantage had, I mean, with the internet up on the north side, night and day difference, Orange Cloud, 100%, hands down. Before you used to be lucky to get 6 megabytes,
But that's
maybe 10,
internet,
now
like we
it's.
were saying, but we're talking specifically the
Right.
phones.
No, I'm
You
just-
really look into that phone.
Is it phones over IP?
It is.
So you're talking internet?
Yep.
I'm just going by what I'm getting from their, basically their service has been great as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
compared
I don't
to
have
what
a
we were
problem
getting
with it.
before.
My thoughts are just be prepared if something, have some kind of backup for a day or two or whatever it takes if something should happen with the phone lines. But
Voice
you were
over
saying
IP
it's over
is
internet, it
not that new.
probably won't.
It's been around for long.
Right. I mean, we can call him back in here and take you guys through his
Yeah, I'm okay with
expertise
that.
on if it works or not.
I'm okay.
Well, if they're working side by side for those 2 months or however.
How do we go about do we need to make some kind of a motion to approve, to go ahead and move forward on this and have that service hopefully
I
ready
don't think
by?
the board has to approve this. I think it's the department heads have to decide.
But do we have a contract with them?
No.
We'll have to approve the contract, or we will get a contract, or no contract? We have a contract with Tech Mode, obviously.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'll have to find out. I've never seen a contract.
Well, we got 3
As
months.
far as-
Got till August 18th.
We've never discussed a contract.
Right, I think because.
I recall,
because
you
they're
brought this to
providing-
the board, you brought this to the board as an FYI.
Yes, but because
It's a
they're
cost savings.
providing internet in the community,
Yeah.
you're doing it to the township. That's it. No,
Right.
no cost, nothing.
That's
Okay.
a win-win too.
Right, and if there is a cost, it's very minimal. They're doing it because they're already providing it in the community.
I mean, it's a good cost, but if you're not tied to a
It's in
specific
there.
contract. it's in
Correct.
there
Right.
too, so.
Correct.
Okay. All right, well, let's just keep moving forward, and
Okay.
Frank, but I think that the key issue is we're going to let that Tech Mode contract expire before we,
Right.
we need to get a lot of early termination. We can write it now, that we are looking to terminate the contract as of
We'll
August
get
18th.
Eli in here again, and
Well, doesn't it automatically?
So then how would that start?
No, I think we got to write the letter to state that we
I thought
want
it was if it's early.
Oh, maybe,
I'm not sure.
right.
If you just call them and say, okay,
Maybe it's
we're interested in
expiration
having you do
of
our.
current
phone. I mean,
We've
how does
already
that
done
work?
that. We've already done that
To write a
discussion.
letter,
We're interested.
30 days ahead.
Now he's just got to prove this and it's going to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Get that letter.
It just got easier.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Thanks for, I'll get the letter to, are you want me to write or you want?
Susan, do you know the cost of the phones right now per line? By chance? Frank, do you remember?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah. I want to say it was over $100 per phone.
Per phone, yeah.
Per phone.
I want to say it was like,
120, 110.
well, total like $1,800 a month, isn't it?
Right, so we're going down to roughly, I believe, $20 a phone
And fewer phones.
and fewer phones. And I apologize, I have those numbers, I just don't have them off the top of my head. So hopefully this does work, and again, we'll run it parallel.
Be all right, as long as the internet doesn't go down.
That's it.
I wouldn't mind the phone
Yeah.
stopping.
That's the most important thing for the fire department right now, we can't have the internet go down.
That's right.
Okay. Gonna move on to item 70, the limestone cost share contract, cost share agreement. Yeah, it's not really an agreement, it's just a FYI thing. Kind of, we do this every year. There will be a contract that comes across just to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at. The Macomb County Road Commission sent that over to me. So it's a cost share with Macomb County. Bruce's cost is going to be $35,820, and cost for Macomb County is going to be $355,200.
How come everybody has a different price? Am I reading this wrong? It says everybody has 3 miles.
Right, that depends on the trucking for bringing this limestone from like Port Huron or wherever. they get
Oh,
it
I
from.
see, okay.
That's what it's based on. So, delivery charge, I guess you would
Okay.
say, for all those semi-full,
One of the highest.
or the farthest.
Bruce in Washington
I
is.
know.
So, yeah, we were gonna, I do have, so we did a couple roads last year. We did 36 Mile Road. First, we had some other areas, I don't remember exactly where they were at, but they were, the remaining limestone was gonna be used on 36 Mile Road from Van Dyke until they ran out of material. They ran out of material on, they made it all the way west to Fox Ridge subdivision. So this year, it's gonna be from Fox Ridge to Fisher to finish 36 Mile Road off. And the last time 36 Mile Road was done was when Enbridge did it, was back in 2014, so it's kind of due. It's a heavily traveled road. The other road that needs to be done and finished this year, 37 Mile Road was done from the west entrance of Harvest Lane last year to Fisher Road, and now it needs to be completed to go from Wells Road to the west entrance of Harvest Lane. The last time that road was done was 14 years ago. So we usually try to keep them around a 10-year period, but that was last done 14 years, so it's definitely in need of work, but that should use up our 3 miles this year. So, just,
Okay.
I don't know, we gotta make a motion to approve that cost at all?
I'll make a motion to approve the Bruce Township portion of the limestone spreading program through Macomb County,
Support.
including Brian.
Motion by Tremblay, support by DeGiorgio. We get a roll call, please?
Yes.
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 I know that stuff comes in front of the board another time or two. I think we get contract from Macomb County after I submit the, whatever, let her know that we're okay with it, and
Yeah.
submit the roads, and then they okay the roads or so. But, we also have the dust control program that'll be on our next meeting. That's every year too, so. 7F, the FOIA policy.
You have something on that?
Yeah, no, I didn't pull anything. I just wanted to remind everybody on board and public, all those people watching, when you request, all our information is public record. When you request something, I need it in writing, even if it's from the board, I keep track of it. And I keep a file. I have to keep them for 2 years. So just an update, just a reminder.
Why does the board need to do that?
For the reasons I just said.
An email's not sufficient?
Yeah,
Well,
it's just more helpful if I had the actual form, but
All right, move on to item 7H would be the Romeo United Methodist Church resolution.
it's just a congratulatory resolution on their 200th anniversary.
Are we going to get them a plaque or a proclamation?
I did this on, form with a gold seal and put it in special. So
Who did that for you?
I did,
Online? Can you do another one?
sure,
Yeah, another one.
something like this.
Oh, well, for, no, one of these.
For who?
Yes, I need a proclamation for an event I gotta go to on Saturday.
I even got some.
What is that for?
I'm mentioning
Okay.
communication.
Right here.
So do we have to vote on this?
Yeah.
The,
We have a resolution to, yeah, I would think we do, to accept the congratulatory resolution for the United Methodist Church as presented.
second.
Second by Tremblay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposed, motion carries. Moving on to item 7.8 is our communications. Mike, why don't we start with you?
Just wanted to thank Mike for working with me to get the Amendment 5 done. The developer was.
Thank you.
cooperative. And if we could add the IFT guidelines to the next meeting. And then, this is something that's been swirling around in my head, is the Parks and Rec commissioners, they don't get a stipend for their meetings. I think a $100 stipend per meeting is in order. If the board agrees, I'll reach out to Washington Township and see if they agree. See if we
I
can
didn't
do
hear
an
you
amendment.
clearly, Mike. What was that?
A stipend for the Parks and Rec commissioners, they don't get a stipend. They're
Oh, okay.
purely volunteer. They do a lot of work.
yes.
They do probably as much work as our planning commissioners or our ZBA members.
Way more than that, I can vouch for that, I can tell you.
Oh.
Hours and hours.
Our planning commissioners are efficient.
No, I know.
But anyway, I do think it would be warranted that, I mean, they pay for an attorney to be at every meeting.
Per
I
meeting,
think it'd
is
be
that what you're-
warranted
Yeah.
to pay the commissioners a $100 stipend per day.
Okay.
We
Per-
see how.
per
Per meeting.
It's
Is
called.
it per meeting?
Per meeting,
Okay.
per meeting, not per day, per meeting.
What about special meetings and things, just per meeting?
I would say per
Any
the monthly meeting like we do with our, I mean, it's not a lot, but it's a recognition that they're valued members.
And you're asking that from,
I'm asking the board to approve that I make that recommendation, and I'll reach out to Washington and see if they'll do the same.
I
Because
support
we
that.
both we'd have to amend the interlocal to include a stipend. Right now, there's no stipend.
Do we have-
okay,
can
but
we
we're
do
not
that
voting
by
on it right
communication?
now, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, we are. Oh,
But
okay.
Yeah.
can we, because it's
Support.
communications, it's not on the
Oh,
Yeah, I think that
oh, should we?
the Parks and Rec can put it together and then present it to the board for
They
approval.
won't do it.
Well,
Why?
I'll put it on the agenda for
Yeah.
next month.
Yeah, put it on the agenda.
I think Bob would do
Well, I
it.
know
He
we-
would
we
put it
don't
on their
have
agenda
control.
to approve. Okay.
I would like to see it on the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we would
I've
still
seen
get
some
it
of their
back.
meetings, and they look to the boards to make changes to the interlocal.
Okay.
I mean, they could make a recommendation. But that would be them recommending a raise for themselves.
Right, they're on a slippery slope all the time anyway.
So,
But that was done.
in the meantime, I'll reach out to Washington.
Chief, what do you got going on? Mike, are you done?
Yes, thank you.
I'm good, thank you.
Good, huh? Okay. I know you've been busy.
Oh, I did have one more thing.
Oh,
You guys got the annual report from the planning commission. That's
Thank
just a summary of all we did.
That's a lot.
We're going to come back next month with our goals, and we're also going to come back with a recommendation to change a couple of ordinances that we have regarding how long a site plan is valid for. Right now, we're finding that some of our reviews are taking longer than usual, so we're going to make a proposal to change it from 1 year to 2 years. And that'll be coming next month for us. That's it, thank you. I'm sorry about that.
You guys had a busy year. I think it's going to be busier this year than it was last year.
It's busy over there.
An annual report might be twice as thick.
Yeah.
Terese, what do you got?
I'm all set.
Frank?
I just want to thank Mike and Steve for the Romeo Fire and ALS contract. The board approved it Monday, and I hand-delivered a signed copy, 2 of them, that were signed by Susan, myself, and Mike. Now we're just waiting for their copy to come back. Made the changes that they requested. And also, we're going to have a, Stewart's Bruce Township is going to have a cemetery day sometime in May, possibly looking at May 18th. So anybody that's interested can contact the treasurer's office, and we'll put you on the list. That's all I have. Thank you.
Blood drive coming up?
We do have a blood drive coming up, but it's not going to be until, I think, June. And I'm trying to finalize that date because they're pretty swamped all over the place and short help. So we were unable to have one within the 3rd month of the last one.
Hey, Frank, what about the golf outing? Do you have one this year?
Yeah, we're going to have it on August 23rd at Bruce Hills. I'm sorry, not Bruce Hills, Heather Hills. August 23rd on a Friday.
I know AEW was asking.
Oh, okay.
Sydney.
Yeah.
Ready to jump on? So.
Good.
Okay.
Just personally, I'd like to thank Frank, Mike, and the chief for working that Romeo contract. I know it wasn't always fun, but
It's
I
done.
think they got to a decent place.
Yeah.
Not ideal, but a decent place to go.
It is
Well,
a good place.
we just showed how good neighbors we were.
And we get to do it all over again in 3
Thanks
more
for the-
years.
Thanks for the
Start
effort.
in 2 years.
Yeah.
We get to do it
Thanks.
about another 2 years.
You're smiling.
Because it's done. Yeah.
Susan, what do you got for
Yeah.
communication?
Shred date, May 4th. We had over 80,000 early voters in the state, more than 1 million absentee voters. Looking for election workers still, election worker setup too. And I wanted to clarify when I talked about the resolutions last time, the money, not the resolution, sorry, the stipends, however you want to refer to them, for early voting at $1,750 would be paid for by the state. So it isn't anything that comes out of our coffers. I would still like to work on something for Amy for that. She worked over Christmas, I've said that. That is not a holiday, it's our holiday, but Christmas, she did not work Christmas Day or Christmas Eve or New Year's. So I'll maybe bring that back next time, because it is not anything that we pay for, it's the state.
Is that just for the February election?
Just that, yes.
And if it is reimbursed from the state, maybe we could look at it again.
That's what I'm thinking. I wasn't sure I made that clear, so I'm just going to reiterate. Also, I briefly talked about the Michigan Municipal League last time, and how they have their senior advisors that go around the state and help with any issues you have in your building. And they'll do it for free initially, and maybe even stay with you for free, depending on what you need. So I just wanted to, if you are all okay with that, I'll reach out to them and just get some more information. And the man I spoke with his name is Mark Wollenweber, and he is retired. I think they're all retired he was a city manager, most recently in Huntington Woods, but also St. Clair Shores and the Grosse Pointes. So they have a lot of knowledge and background.
There's a thing coming up for the senior advisory, if I'm not mistaken. I remember seeing something on it. And isn't that Tom?
There are only 4 of them. I know you mean them.
He's Macomb.
Tom's with Macomb,
Yeah.
Macomb Seniors Citizens Advisory Board.
Nothing, no affiliation at all? Okay. Yeah.
I can report back.
Anything else?
Okay, that's all.
On the shred day, just want to clarify, it's going to be here at the Township and not at Parks and Rec, because that's usually at Parks and Rec.
Okay.
And there is no electronics recycling. It is going to be the same day that we're going to have a regular recycle day for cardboard, plastics, and bottles, whatever you might. So we're going to have designated lines, so it'll be a little bit different for people coming in who are not going to be familiar with it, not used to it, so. We'll get some signage out there, quick signs, and somebody may be directing, so. But definitely bring all your shredding paper you need to have, documents that need to be destroyed, so. Only I got is, on Saturday from 3 to 6 at the, let me grab my glasses here. Marty Hudnick from the Four Corners Diner is putting on a little bit of a fundraiser for the Impact Church that's on East St. Clair, right across from Four Corners. Mickey Lolich is going to be coming in and do a little presentation. The tickets are $50 a piece. With that, you get, I know you get a signed baseball, selfies allowed, a ballpark lunch, and get to watch the 30-minute Lifetime Achievement video. So if you can make it on Saturday, April 20th, it's from 3 to 6 p.m., $50 per person. The proceeds go to Impact, benefit the Impact Church. That's all I got. There's nothing more for this board to decide. I'll make motion to adjourn.
Support.
Support by Georgie, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, everybody, thank you very much for coming out. Eli, as always, appreciate it.
Thank you.